A woman from North Yorkshire is raising awareness of a rare medical condition that has drastically changed her life. During an emergency C-section, Leanne Fraser from Malton became very ill and a few weeks later was diagnosed with functional neurological disorder, or as it's abbreviated, FND. It left her in constant pain, having seizures and unable to speak. Leanne wants to share her story to help others. Carla Fowler has been to meet her.
My name's Leanne Fraser. I'm 31. 2.5 years ago, I was pregnant with our little boy, so our first child, and then shortly after having an emergency C-section, I was diagnosed with a neurological condition called functional neurological disorder, or FND. They'd got Henry out safely. Then I suddenly had this increase in pressure in my head, and it was excruciatingly painful. And then I couldn't talk. All of a sudden, I'd just lost my speech completely.
She was tremoring and then she stopped being able to talk, and at that point I got kind of taken out of the room, and it kind of went a roller coaster from there.
When we got home, I started having seizures. Sometimes they would last for up to 45 minutes and my body would be shaking uncontrollably, and then my right side went weak. And that was when we knew something wasn't right. I was diagnosed with functional neurological disorder. It's a condition that isn't curable. You can have treatments and the physio to help with the right side weakness, but all of the other symptoms, the memory loss, the chronic pain, the fatigue, the tremors and facial spasms, all these things, you can't do anything for them. I'm unable to work, and I've worked since I was 17. Now I'm in the house 90% of the time. I can't drive anymore, I can't go out on my own. Thank you. The pain is just too much, and overnight it's almost like my muscles have seized up. I have been taking morphine up to 5 doses a day. Without the morphine, I wouldn't be able to walk, and I definitely wouldn't be able to pick up Henry. With all the symptoms, I'm a very different mum than what I imagined when I was pregnant, and that's really upsetting that, you know, I can't roll around on the floor with Henry. I can watch Jake and everyone play around and fool around with him and things. It breaks my heart that I'm not able to join in and do that.
It was really hard to see your wife going through all of this, especially as a new mum, and no matter what has been going on, Leanne has just been so positive and determined.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Even though all this terrible, uncontrollable things are happening to my body, I have Jake and Henry's happy and healthy, I have a lovely home, and there's always things to be grateful for. They're there if you look for them, and that can make you feel so much better.
Thank you to Leanne for sharing her story. Earlier today, I spoke to Tom Plender from the charity FND Action, and I began by asking him what are the symptoms of FND.
There are a range of symptoms with FND. A lot of people have problems with movement, balance, coordination, muscle spasm, chronic pain. Seizures are common. They look quite similar to epileptic seizures. So yeah, it's a whole range of quite debilitating and disabling symptoms.
I have to say, when I saw Leanne, she's very young, it looked like it was having a huge impact on her day-to-day life. How rare is FND? I must confess I've not heard of it until today.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. So few people have heard of it, and it turns out it is actually one of the most common neurological conditions. So it's probably as common as things like Parkinson's. It's hard to get exact stats, but yeah, it is definitely one of the most common neurological conditions.
Who's coming to you for support then? Is it mainly young people, as in Leanne's case?
We've got a lot of very young people, we've got elderly people, middle-aged people. FND can affect anyone, yeah.
And are there any effective treatments, or is it, for want of a better phrase, a life sentence?
No, I wouldn't say it's a life sentence. It is complicated. There are different types of FND. There are some effective treatments, but not everyone responds to treatment. So we need more research to find out why that is. And overall, we need more research in general because this condition's been so neglected.
Tom, what are waiting lists like for those treatments?
Very long. One of the problems we have at the moment is there is no national treatment service on the NHS for FND, and that's what we're all campaigning and fighting for with the charity. So there are a small handful of specialist treatment centres, but the waiting lists are extremely long, often up to 2 to 3 years, and these treatment centres are often pushed to breaking point. So we need a national treatment service for FND on the NHS because the situation is really desperate for patients at the moment.
Tom, thank you very much indeed for coming on to explain FND to us, and good luck with your charity's work.
Great, thank you.
Some other headlines coming into the Look North newsroom today.